Over the years, many journalism majors were encouraged to ask 5 questions about a story. The who, what, where, when, and why questions. Who is driving it? Who benefits? Who loses? What happened? What does this mean for the reader? Where is this taking place? When did it happen? When was the last update? When will the effects be felt? And 5, why did this event take place? Why should the reader care? When it comes to your life calling and to my life calling, those all matter. Who, what, where, when, and why. I'll suggest an even more important question, the question I think matters most to Jesus. I'll suggest it through a prayer that Big Al wrote, a prayer that begins with the question many a kid has been asked. It's called, "What will I be when I grow up?" And it goes like this. What will I be when I grow up? People have asked me. I do not know the answer. There's so much I could be. But there's another question that my dad asks of me. The question is not what, it's how. Tell me how you'll be. He says what matters most, dear God, is not what I will do. It's how I'll live my every day. Will I be kind like you? Big Al's dad is right. That is the question. How will I live my every day? How will I live this moment or the next or the next? Oh, it matters very much what we do and why we do it. But those things change. We often don't know where we'll end up or what we'll be doing. How many of us could have predicted that we would be right where we are right now? What mom of young children, for example, whose life is so absorbed with wrangling the never-ending blur of the demands and chaos of parenting young ones, ever pictures herself years later, as happens sometimes, caring for her husband whose dementia has gotten so bad that he likely needs to be put into a home? For each of us, our life circumstances change. We can't control what life will throw at us. We can't even predict it. But we can and we must decide how we will be during the precious days we have as they are given to us. Today, after calling 12 disciples, Jesus sends them out with a mission. Of course, it would matter what they said, where they said it, why and when they did so. But perhaps one of the biggest reasons Jesus gave for this odd-sounding coaching about what to bring and not to bring was that he knew that the what, when, where, and why weren't the most important things. What would change the hearts of those to whom this little group preached was how they did it, how they lived, how they were. It's not so much the words the apostles used, though words matter, they never would have alone done it. It's how they did it, their joy, their goodness, the sense of meaning and hope that people could tell they had found that made the difference. It was how they were. So with us, wherever we are at this particular stage of our lives, whether we expected to be where we are now or not, the main question is the same for us. How are we being as we live these days? For one example about life callings, hopefully, some of our guys here might think about priesthood as a possible way to live your life. I encourage it because it is a great way to pour out your life for this world. Seriously, think about it. Talk to me about it or to Father Leo. But if you ever were to become a priest, please don't be arrogant or selfish. You see, while it matters what you would do as a priest, and it does, it matters most how you would do it. We need kind and humble people to serve in this important role. For everyone, here's the kicker. We might not normally think about this, but it's true. How we live our days determines who we become as human beings. How we live determines who we are. How we live is what will make the most difference in the world. How we live is also what will make the most difference in us. It is how we become who we are now and at the end of our days. This in here that we take with us into the life beyond what we can see. Yep. Sometimes when we were younger, there was this question: what do you want to be when you grow up? Perhaps, however old we are now, it's a question we still ask on some level. Big Al's dad was right. There's another question that my dad asks of me. The question is not what, it's how. Tell me how you'll be. He says what matters most, dear God, is not what I will do, it's how I'll live my every day. Will I be kind like you?